Yo guys, what's going on? In this video I'm going to be talking about Kai'Sa and my first impressions on her, as well as a few tips to help you guys try and win a few more games on her and get that extra head start when it comes to learning the new champion. Okay, so first off, as always, we're going to talk about runes. So in 8.5, Fleet Footwork got a nerf to its early game, so I think a lot of people are trying to veer away from using that every single game and looking at using Press the Attack or Fleet Footwork, so you have more damage in the mid-late game. So what I've enjoyed using on her is Press the Attack. It synergizes really well with a 5-hit passive because you're obviously going to have to auto-attack 3 times to get Press the Attack. And then you can queue for extra damage or just keep on going forwards, and because of the on-hit passive proccing after Press the Attack, it means that you'll be getting even more percentage execute damage on that passive. However, I can see Lethal Tempo being alright on her, actually pretty good, because if you can deal some damage to the champion, so like hit a W, ult towards them, or not even ult towards them, but then by the time you've got to the enemy, or by the time you come out of stealth, if you deal damage and then E, you'll have lethal tempo and the extra attack speed from your E, and you'll just deal tons of damage. As far as Kai'Sa's early game goes, I find it to be pretty strong. I think that paired up with an Alistar or a Nami or a Leona, anyone with a bit of CC, she can deal loads of damage because they can contribute to popping her 5-hit passive. I personally enjoy Nami the most because you can be E'd for the speed up and E, and then you're slow with auto attacks. So I found that when I have a Nami support, I prefer to go Rage Blade into Rapid Fire Cannon so I can proc that first slow and then kind of snowball the fight from that first slow. However, as for a build in general, I prefer Rage Blade, Runarns into Infinity Edge as my first 3 items with Berserker's Greaves. This is because the way that her kit works is you need 100 AP, 100 AD and 100% attack speed in order to evolve the spells and pretty much scale as Kai'Sa. Now in my opinion, the 2 most important ones are her Q and her E, the ones that scale from attack speed and AD, so you want to be getting those first. With Rage Blade you're getting 50 ability power, 35 attack damage and 25 attack speed. Once you've built Berserkers and Runarns as well, you'll have your E evolved, so you'll go invisible once you E when you're overcharging and then come out of stealth and be able to deal loads of damage with the attack speed boost. After this, I go Infinity Edge because after the BF sword and pickaxe you will be able to evolve her Q, dealing in theory double damage. You'll fire twice as many rockets and the damage cap goes up quite a bit. It also means you've got a lot more AoE damage. So after this, it's kind of in a little bit of a grey area what you're meant to build, because you will need extra 50 ability power to proc her W, and it is worth doing. Personally, I prefer either a Banshee's Veil because of the passive that it gives you is really good, especially as a low range ADC, being able to tank that first skill shot, that first stun, first just damage spell is pretty nice for her, but it also gives you magic resist, so if they're heavy on ability power and you feel like you need the magic resist, it's also really good. Rylai's could be another one because it means that your ability is slow, so your Q and your W will slow. The main one here is your Q because it's so AoE in team fights, it means you'll be slowing a lot of people. And then the last AP item is Liandry's Torment because it gives you 2% extra damage dealt per second up to 10% and HP, maximum HP shred. So it kind of synergizes once again really well with her kit, and not to mention that everything in her kit scales with AP apart from obviously her attack speed steroid. There's also Nash's Tooth actually, but I personally haven't used it yet and I don't feel like I'd like it because you're already getting a load of attack speed from Rage Blade and her E and the other items that you build. Okay, now honestly I feel like the mid game is where this champion really starts to excel because she's got so much damage in her kit, especially AoE damage with her Q, and if you build Runarns, and the passive just means that she's dealing loads of damage to tanks as well. Not to mention that at this point, especially if you've gotten a little bit ahead, you can start to make a few nice plays with her ultimate and then E-ing to go invisible straight away. Like there are loads of different combos, but personally my favourite is to just roam up from the bot lane if you're bot lane from pushing out a wave, or if you're top lane trying to get the top lane tower, or if they're both down and you're just farming in the mid lane. If there's a fight going on somewhere where you're able to ult a position where someone's used their hard CC, get a shield, and just start dealing out loads and loads of damage. Something else that you can do with this though is if you've built Rage Blade, you're able to stack it up and ult straight into the fight and have instant Rage Blade stacks, and I feel like this is why in the mid game she just feels overbearing almost. She just deals stupid amounts of damage. Okay, so now we're in the late game, and in my opinion Kai'Sa is still really strong right now. One of the best things you can do with her is if you've got like a Jarvan, a Gnar, an Alistar, people who want to jump on their backline, sorry, you can join them and jump on their backline as well. It's insane, but you've also got a shield, so it's not like you're being stupid and you're just trying to 1v5 Gosu backline on Vayne. No, you've got a shield that at the moment it's probably giving you around 800 HP, so you can join in the backline and absolutely blow someone up, and from there play the team fight out as you normally would. It's just that now you're kind of like you've switched sides. But as I say, you can only really do this if they have already dove onto their backline. Don't just kind of join one person or two people. No, it's like if your whole team is kind of built to jump on their backline. This is an ADC that's really easy to join in with them. But apart from that, her passive, especially with Rage Blade, you should be proccing it every 3 auto attacks and having an auto attack on your next load of passive, so it's like 3 auto attacks then 2 auto attacks. That's not including any CC that anyone's doing to the tanks. You will absolutely shred through tanks, especially as they start to lose a little bit of HP, because your passive, as I've said before, is an execute. It's magic damage. You know, people might see that you're fed and build armor, but that's not the case. And not to mention that your Q deals a load of damage as well, and if you've got your W maxed out, it also means that you can get 3 stacks of your passive off straight away, so like it helps you to burst down tanks more than what you might think. However, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that there aren't any weaknesses of Kai'Sa. So the first one, and in my opinion, is that she's 500 range ADC. If you're against a brand Caitlyn, there isn't much that you're going to be able to do in the early levels, and you can get snowballed on quite easily. One thing she does have going for her when it comes to these lanes though is that her Q can help her kind of push back away from underneath the tower, and you won't lose too much CS. So that's not too bad, but then also hard CC, as I've said before, low range ADC, she wants to go invisible, she wants to kind of flank people, but not as much as some champions. But with hard CC, you can get caught out just like that, Ashe ult into Alistar combo. Like, you don't want to be up against a lot of hard CCers. As I've said before, 500 range, it's easy to abuse. Her other glaring weakness, in my opinion, is that, once again, 500 range on an ADC, she's not good at sieging at all. What makes this worse, as in comparison to like a Sivir, is that Sivir can wave clear like the whole wave very quickly. Kai'Sa cannot. She's got early game wave clear, you know, but later on in the game it kind of kills like 2 minions, 3 minions, it's not the same. So she's not very good at sieging at all. However, to combat that, she is extremely good at killing neutral objectives like Baron and Dragon. So she will kill Baron with a tank and your support in like 10 seconds. She deals stupid amounts of HP damage, percentage HP damage, sorry, or as an execute. I feel like that is definitely going to get capped, especially with the Rage Blade. You absolutely shred through them. But that's pretty much all I've got to talk about when it comes to Kai'Sa at the moment. I don't feel like it's right for me to tell you guys what is 100% right, because she's only been out for 2 days. I'm going to be spamming the fuck out of her and be bringing out a guide within, I'm going to say, the month, because I feel like I want to be able to know the champion really well. Know tricks, know how to play team fights, even if I don't play them well all the time. I want to know how I'm supposed to play them before I try and tell you guys and teach you guys how to play the champion. So this is just my first impressions and a few tips and what I feel like from the games that I have played of her, how I feel like you should be playing her. But as I always say, thank you so much for watching. If you could tell me down below what I could do better and what you want to see me make in the future, then I will definitely read them. I reply to most of my comments, and thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.